Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and thank you for joining me in today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that a few people have asked me about, and I think it's a good idea to talk about in the spirit of financial transparency. So in today's video, I'll be talking about couples' finances. And towards the end of the video, I'll be talking about what my wife and I do for our family's finances. Let's dive in. There are many different things to consider when it comes to finances for couples. For one, every couple will have different finances and a different dynamic between the two of them when it compared to somebody else. For another, we all tend to be pretty private when it comes to personal finances, and this can cause some discomfort in a relationship, especially at the beginning. In this video, I'm going to be going over a few different options that couples have when it comes to personal finances. Some of these options may be better for married couples than unmarried couples. This is simply because the government considers the marriage as a legal contract and offers some advantages to married couples such as those in the tax code. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume that both people in a couple have an income. Guys, before we continue with this video, I want to take a second to ask you to please smash that like button and that subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm and click the bell icon to be notified instantly when I post a new video. Also, if you missed this news last week, I wanted to let you know that I went viral on TikTok, at least for my standards. I made a TikTok video that got more than 100,000 views, and I'm super psyched about that. So if you want to be a part of it there, go ahead and follow me on TikTok. The handle is @PrashantKochi. That being said, let's get back to today's video. Okay, the first case is a couple that likes to keep things separate and simple. This might even mean having separate apartments or houses, separate cars, and so on. If this is a scenario that you find yourself in, it probably does not make sense to have a lot of joint personal finances. It would not make sense to have joint bank accounts and the like. The only thing that would make sense to pay together would be if you went to a restaurant for a meal together or for some other entertainment expense. Maybe you can go Dutch, split it in some way that makes sense to you, or maybe one person picks up the tab one night and the other person picks up the tab the other night. The second case is for couples who have slightly more intertwined lives. Maybe this is a couple who lives together, so obviously they have some common expenses. Some couples in this situation like to divide things right down the middle. So each person in the couple pays half the rent, half the groceries, half the utilities, and everything else. Some other couples like to divide these common expenses proportionally to their income. So the person who is making more money tends to pay a little bit of a larger share of these common expenses, and the other person picks up the rest. I think both of these systems work pretty well, but there can be a complication when one person owns their own home and the couple lives there. In this case, the one person who does not own the home can pay the homeowner rent, or maybe they can just pay for all of the other expenses. This can also get a little bit more complicated because the homeowner is building equity every month, whereas the other person is not. In this case, it makes a lot of sense for the couple to sit down together early on in their relationship and really talk everything out to make sure that they're comfortable with what they're doing and there are no bad feelings later on. The final case that I want to talk about is about a married couple living together. When you're a married couple, since this is a legally binding contract, there are some basic things that you need to keep in mind. In the US, there are two types of states. The first is called common law property states, and the second is community property states. Unless you have a prenup agreement that says something different, your marital property is subject to the laws of the state that you reside in. In common law property states, assets acquired by one person in a couple during the marriage belong to that person alone. However, in community property states, any assets acquired during the marriage by either one of the people in the couple belong to the couple as a whole. On top of this, the IRS recognizes married filing jointly as a tax filing status, which gives certain benefits under the tax code, including higher standard deductions and higher income limits when it comes to being able to contribute to individual retirement accounts or IRAs. So if you're a married couple living together, it does make sense to kind of blend your finances in. Some married couples have a single common checking account. This is the account that their paychecks come in, and this is the money that they use for their common expenses. They might even have a joint savings account where they save money for a rainy day or anything else. Other couples like to keep completely separate accounts and completely separate expenses. In this case, maybe one person is responsible for the mortgage while the other person pays for groceries, utilities, and everything else. As a married man, my wife and I use a hybrid approach. Obviously, because I do this myself, I'm biased towards it, and I think this is the best approach when it comes to family finance. First, we have separate checking accounts where we both get our paychecks. Then, we have a common checking accounts where we get money sent via automatic transfers from our separate checking accounts. Our mortgage is paid out directly from my checking account, whereas we use our common checking account for all of the remaining common expenses we have. We also have a joint saving account where we keep our emergency fund and any general savings. After that, we have separate retirement accounts with our employers where we save money for our retirement. We believe that there are several benefits to using this approach. First, independence. We have complete control over our separate checking accounts where we get our own paychecks. Sure, we have responsibilities towards each other and we do send money to our common checking account, but outside of that, we are in complete control of using our money however we want. Second, privacy. Since we don't have access to each other's logins information, it does give us a lot of privacy. Mostly this is useful when we're buying presents for each other. And third, accountability. Since we have a common checking account and we both have access to this account, we can both look at this account and make sure that we are both being honest and sending the money that we promised to send to this account. To be honest, this is really simple for both of us since we have automatic transfer set up. We just check this account periodically to make sure both the incoming and all of the outgoing transfers are working as intended and we don't have a shortfall that we are not aware of. From time to time, we might end up spending a little less money than we budgeted on a flexible spending category like dining out. And in this case, we simply take that money and send it to our joint savings account. So there you have it, a few different ways of setting up your personal finances as a couple. You could either keep it completely separate and basically run two households and pay for everything separately. This works well in the beginning stages of a relationship or for couples who don't spend all of their time together. The next thing that you could do is commingle some of your finances and maybe even have some of your common expenses or maybe even a common account. This can work for couples who live together or spend most of their time together. And the final option is for couples who are married or in long-term committed relationships. If this is the case, it does seem to make sense to commingle your finances to a greater degree. This could include common expenses as well as common bank accounts, including checking accounts, joint savings accounts, and even having joint credit cards, auto loans, and even mortgages. If you do this, just remember you always have the option to have some separate bank accounts also to give you a sense of privacy if you so wish. So that's what I have for you guys in today's video. I hope you found this video informational and entertaining. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button and that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified instantly when I post a new video. I post at least one new video every week with great new financial content and I would love to see you back here on my YouTube channel. Also, go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter where I post weekly. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.